Happy Friday, television family. We have safely arrived at the very cusp of a weekend. Not just any weekend, the second and big weekend of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival, number 106. We're going to be busy today. We'll be at the Local Tel parking lot on Grant Road in East Wenatchee to bring you live coverage of the Classy Chassis Parade presented by Les Schwab. Looking forward to that. That'll be a lot of fun. Then we have to grab all the gear, pack it all up, and cruise it on over and set up for tomorrow morning for the Stem Milk Growers Grand Parade. Airtime tonight, 6 o'clock. Airtime tomorrow, 11 o'clock, which is also when the parade begins. It'll be coming by our location at about 11:15. We're looking forward to that. So it's going to be a busy weekend for us. And right now, it's not looking too bad. They keep hemming and hawing on what the weather's going to be like on Saturday. And right now, it's not looking too bad. It was just a couple of days ago, looked like we might get a little wet in the morning, and we could see some clouds and some wind. Well, it's going to be breezy, but not windy during the day on Saturday. The wind's not really going to pick up until Saturday night, and we're going to see a little more sunshine than we thought. And it looks like this front that's going to come in overnight tonight is going to bring us some rain during the darkness, but we should be dry for the most part all day tomorrow with a few sun breaks. But it's going to be a lot cooler, almost 20 degrees cooler. Today is going to be the warmest day of the year. We're going to be in the right around 80, 81. We've already hit 80 once. We'll be there again, but then things will change temperature-wise, and then we will rebound right back up again. The all-important Apple Blossom Weekend forecast is coming up, but right now, I got no complaints. News, yes. Sports, yes, yes, yes. Lots of sports today, mostly prep action, as you might imagine. The Tour de Bloom's downtown Criterium will be packing the streets of the big city here with the bikers zipping around downtown. It's an incredible sight. It's a lot of fun, a lot of beer gardens, a lot of food. A good time will be had by all. We're going to play the interview I did with Steve Johnston and Craig Still, who are helping organize the Tour de Bloom, which gets underway today up in the Waterville Plateau. Tomorrow morning, the amateurs get a chance to go up to Mission Ridge and back again. And then the downtown Criterion is on Saturday night, and then they race again on Sunday and Monday. Yeah, it's 5 days. It's 6 stages over 5 days. So Craig and Steve will wet your whistle. I'll be downtown for the Criterion tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. And Mike Minotti has got an opinion as well. So we got a jam-packed program for you. Let's do it. Let's take our tour. Let's make it happen. And there we go. There's the Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera, sometimes called the Heights camera. It's actually not real close to the cross. It's adjacent to it, but it's there. They've been putting a lot of transmitters and repeaters and translators up at the very tip of Wenatchee Heights because it gets the job done. It's been a bit of a building boom for the world of technology up there. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley. Are we ready for the wrap-up of our big party? I know I am, although I have to stop going to the food fair at Memorial Park. It's breaking my bank. Camera number 2. Good morning to Monitor. How are you doing today? It's good to see you. Good morning to Cashmere. Snow continues to melt in the upper part of 6, 7, 8,000 feet above sea level. Mission Ridge, I noticed yesterday afternoon, is really starting to lose quite a bit of snow with this warm weather. Of course, they're done for the year as far as just going up and skiing, but they're going to be doing stuff all summer long up at Mission Ridge. But I noticed quite a bit of snow melt up Mission Ridge, especially at the summit at about 7,000 feet above sea level. Camera number 3. Good morning to Lake Aniat and the Orondo Rock camera. Everybody seems to be minding their P's and Q's. Yesterday's high 75, our normal high 67. Another warm day. Sunrise this morning 5:42, sunset tonight 8:14, right about the end of the Classy Chassis Parade. That's 14 hours and 33 minutes of daylight. We're still gaining a little less than 3 minutes of daylight every day. And there's Mission Ridge off in the background with the snow receding. And camera 4. Up to Billy Goat we go, always a favorite. Hello, Billy Goat. Omak right now, 46 degrees, calm winds. Everybody is calm right now. Relative humidity is still very, very dry for this time of the year. We've had sunny and mild weather in late April and early May, but the relative humidity by about 1 o'clock in the afternoon for many locations will be about 20%. That is really bone dry air. We live in a desert, but that's dry for this time of the year, for spring. Anyway, I was going to show you these 2 slides yesterday because that's when they came out, but we just didn't have the time, so I'm going to do it today. May 2025 from the Climate Prediction Center. What do they think? Temperature-wise, well, we got a 50-50 chance of having normal temperatures over the entire western half of the United States, or western quarter of the United States. If you want warm temperatures, head to the Dakotas. North and South Dakota and a good chunk of Minnesota is going to have some pretty warm temperatures, they tell us. Here, about average. That's your temperature outlook for the month of May. For precipitation, guess what? Pretty much the same deal. Just about a 50-50 chance of normal precipitation and normal temperatures for the entire month of May. That little corner of that Puget Sound up in the, the Port Townsend, Port Angeles area, Bellingham, you may have some above normal precipitation, but we're probably going to have just about what we normally should have this time of the year. All right, from the National Weather Service, probably the warmest day of the year. We hit 80 once. We could go to 81 today, so temperatures are going to be up there. If you're out and about in the sunshine this afternoon, quick reminder, you might not be used to the heat, even though it's really not hot. And then things start changing tonight. As the trough begins to move in, the big ridge of high pressure will begin to break down and move east, and that will allow an incoming cold front, but it's not packing a lot of precipitation. We still have about a 30% chance of rain overnight tonight. Winds will be picking up a little bit. We'll get dipped down to 54 for the overnight low tonight. And then you can see how much cooler it's going to be. It's going to be a little breezy, not windy, a little breezy on Saturday. But outside of that, we're looking at partly sunny skies and temperatures in the mid-60s. It'll be about 60 degrees at 11 o'clock when the parade starts tomorrow. And then Saturday night, the winds pick up big time. 42 for the overnight low as the last of the trough exits. And then here comes another ridge of high pressure. By Monday, it'll be here. So Sunday looks great. Monday looks great. Tuesday, Wednesday, a cool down on Thursday. But yeah, my air conditioning is on for the first time since probably late September. All right, after a 2-minute break, whatever's making news, turns out there's a lot of it, will come your way. You're watching a Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories. And we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Central Washington Water is home to the Hot Spring Spa for over 45 years. Come see the Freshwater Smart IQ. It monitors your saltwater spa's pH balance, chlorine, and more. Or the cold plunge tub that will leave you feeling rejuvenated. Plug-and-play spas make hot tubbing easy. With great financing available, cold water, salt water, hot water, Central Washington Water has a spa for your budget and your lifestyle. Stop by today.
Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. TourMosesLake.com and start your adventure today.
An area of cloud to be had, 52 degrees, lower 80s today, right around 8:30. The ridge will begin to shift to the east. It's also going to break down. We'll have some overnight rain tonight. We'll see some sunshine and a little wind and a lot cooler on Grand Parade Saturday. Almost 10 minutes after the hour, the Texas man accused of spinning donuts in that downtown Leavenworth Park a couple of days before Christmas. Well, he's in plea negotiations now with Chelan County prosecutors. Sheriff's deputies arrested 28-year-old Zachary A. Soltis on charges of felony malicious mischief and misdemeanor reckless driving for allegedly damaging the park back on December 23rd. Leavenworth city officials said it ran about $16,000. That was the bill to fix the turf and a nearby sidewalk. Lawyers this week pushed a planned May trial date back to August, while Soltis seeks a plea agreement to close the case. Attorneys say a man accused of hurling 3 failed fire bombs at his ex-girlfriend's home is not currently competent to stand trial. 48-year-old Eric Vaughn Jackson of Wenatchee was arrested February 26th after allegedly throwing Molotov cocktails that failed to ignite at a home in the 1000 block of South Mission Street. He was also accused of throwing one such grenade at the boyfriend of his former partner. Chelan County prosecutors charged him with 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, plus related assault and arson charges. On Wednesday, Jackson's attorneys said a mental health evaluation found that he does not understand the nature of his case. Judge Travis Branch signed an order to have Jackson undergo treatment to restore him to competency. A planned trial for later this month has been postponed. Employees at Chelan's public hospital system accidentally destroyed personnel records that were meant to be preserved under state law. That's the finding from the Washington State Auditor's Office, which says human resources staff at Lake Chelan Health began a project between 2021 and 2023 to digitize records of its employees. They were also instructed to shred physical records once digital copies were made, and that led to the accidental destruction of a lot of documents before they actually could be preserved. The auditor estimates records from some 300 of Lake Chelan Health's current and former employees were affected. The hospital says the losses were discovered in early 2023 and that steps have been taken to keep personnel records safe in the future. The Washington State Department of Health is urging parents to vaccinate their kids as the measles outbreak continues to grow across the country. Measles were originally declared eradicated in this country about 25 years ago, but the department says the disease has returned as a result of declining immunization rates, which began with the pandemic. The department says there have now been over 884 cases confirmed in this country. A 5th case was reported in this state earlier this week. Parents are encouraged to vaccinate their children with 2 doses of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, as well as, of course, getting themselves vaccinated. This year's delegates from Misawa, Japan, welcome to Wenatchee with a reception at City Hall on Wednesday afternoon. Wenatchee and East Wenatchee have had a sister city relationship with Misawa since 1981, and they swap delegates with each other every year during each other's festivals. Of course, the relationship commemorates the first nonstop trans-Pacific flight from Misawa to East Wenatchee, made by Clyde Pangborn and Hugh Herndon in 1931. The Misawa delegation included a group of students and city leaders who heard from Mayors Mike Poyer and Jerry Lee Crawford and the Apple Blossom royalty. The delegates met their host families, and they'll be staying with those folks during the entire 5-day visit here to visit us for the Apple Blossom Festival. Speaking of the Apple Blossom Festival, the Wenatchee Valley YMCA is the honorary leader of this Saturday's Milk Growers Grand Parade. The nonprofit agency earned Graham Marshall honors the same month it celebrated the groundbreaking of its new facility on 5th Street. The Apple Blossom royalty surprised the Y board at a meeting on April 1st to share the good news. We spoke with the CEO, Dory Foster, at Memorial Park to learn more about what the YMCA has going on and to hear about her reaction to the honors.
Cass Gevers, 4th generation rancher and orchardist from Brewster, Washington. Yeah, we're a family-owned company that you know, all of us work in it. I'm the 4th generation, my kids are the 5th. There's 20 in that generation. I think there's 16 or 17 in that generation that all have some kind of a job or a function at the company. Yeah, the Gevers family was a German name. They came over here as potato farmers back in the 1880s and originally in Nebraska, and they moved out to the Alta Lake area above Pateros. And the holes, those big potholes that are the Alta Lake Golf Course, those were my grandparents' potato farms. And they worked on the Star Ranch down along the Columbia River, just south of Pateros, and eventually started a sawmill and some apple packing and apple orchards, and we've kind of went on from there. Those old timers, we owe them a lot. They scratched the gravel pretty hard to allow us to have the opportunities we have today.
And Gevers Farms is a large agricultural operation that's involved in both ranching and orcharding. Can you sort of say what percentage the split is on that?
Yeah, I mean, we all wear a lot of hats. You know, it's the nature of a family business. And my particular hat is CEO of the fruit company. I work with my brother and sisters, nephews, nieces, and you know, that's my day job. My night job, I moonlight at our cattle ranch, which my younger son, Wade Gevers, helps me run, and he's pretty much the manager of that these days. And you know, you just go 24/7, 365. Cattle got to eat, you know, orchards got to be taken care of, and when you're making food for people that you may never meet, you just go around the clock to do what's needed to be done.
I read that there's some interface between the cattle operation and the apple operation, in the sense that you're using a lot of your waste from the ranching operation as a supplement for the soil for the orchards. Is that right?
Yeah, we compost everything that we produce out of the cattle and the feedlots, and you know, any you know, rotted hay or something. I mean, it all goes in and we return it back to the earth. And you know, we used to burn our bins. We grind all our old used up bins. We grind the small unmerchantable trees out of our forest, and everything goes back into our compost operation and gets applied to the acreage.
And there's a lot of acreage involved. Do you feel kind of a responsibility to that land to make sure that it can sustain and produce and be manageable in the future?
Yeah, I mean, when you grow up and your livelihood is the natural resources that are around you, you have to take care of them. I mean, as farmers and ranchers, we're the ultimate environmentalists, because if you don't take care of your land and live with it and live and breathe with it, you're going to wreck it. And we can't afford to do that, because that's where our livelihood comes from. So we have to be kind of in lockstep with the environment.
What kind of apple orcharding or orcharding innovations in general have you seen in your time growing up and working at Gevers Farms?
Some big changes. When I was a kid, I mean, you're yarding bins out of the orchard 3 at a time on an old slip, and the wine sap trees were probably 20 by 20 or even maybe 20 by 40 spacing. They were massive, picking on 12, 14-foot wooden ladders. And today you see these V-trellis single-spindled orchards. You know, they're all done on platforms, a lot of robotics. I mean, in the packing warehouses my grandmother ran, I mean, they had the tubs and they're individually packing the fruit. And right now, you know, robotics are taking pictures of every piece of fruit inside and out. I mean, the change has been amazing. Sometimes I just wish my grandparents could have seen all of this. I mean, they had no idea how hard they worked compared to what we get to do today and how it's done. It would be fascinating to hear their take on it.
You and other agricultural growers have become more efficient over time, and you're producing more and exporting quite a bit. So are you concerned at all about the tariff and trade situation now with other countries that are normally large purchasers of apples and fruit, putting retaliatory tariffs on anything they import?
Yeah, I mean, you know, any market. I mean, one of my jobs at the Apple Commission is to help ensure that we're marketing Washington apples, you know, to several countries around the world. And for us personally as a company, we always have that worry. We sell a lot of cherries along the Pacific Rim, and you know, China's a big player, and we need to have reciprocal trade and fairness in trade both ways. We need to have a lot of phytosanitary market access issues removed. And I think if you could flow that food back and forth a little bit easier, would sure be helpful for all of us, the consumer and the farmer.
Let me ask you this, Cass. I know that in 2016 you survived a pretty traumatic event. And I don't know if you've spoken about that before, but I wanted to ask you if it, coming through that, helped you learn anything about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, God has a plan for everybody. And I've been, it's tough to think back on that day. I don't drive by that spot. I mean, it's in the middle of our farm. I drive by it every day, that I don't relive every minute of it. I can picture exactly what happened, and I know God was looking out for me, and He has a plan for everything. And I just make sure that I honor the Lord every chance I get, because He saved my life in more ways than one.
Do you spend much time in Wenatchee, or are you mostly a homebody?
Well, I mean, home is Brewster, but I actually moved to Wenatchee as a 6th grader, and my brother came down to play ball here. It was a big school, and I ended up staying. I lived in Wenatchee for 7 years, went to Columbia Grade School, Pioneer Junior High, Wenatchee High School, met my wife in high school. We dated in high school, and so Wenatchee still feels like home to me, even though Brewster is my home. I mean, I have a lot of good friends here. I do business here. We come down for ball games. It's like a dual citizenship, Brewster and Wenatchee for me.
I wanted to ask about your name, sir, because it's kind of unusual and interesting.
Yeah, so the Cascade Mountains, it's short for Cascade. My name's John William Cascade. Grandfather, great uncle, Cascade Mountains. My dad loved the Cascade Mountains. He fished and hunted his whole life in them and named me after him.
What's it mean to you, Cass, to be named Apple Citizen of the Year?
It's a very special award. It's an honor. I mean, I look down that list of peers and predecessors. I mean, the guys like Grady Oval, you know, right through Wes Matheson, who's a peer today. We sit on the Apple Commission together, but that list is very important to our industry, and it's important to me personally. That's a special group of guys that laid the foundation for our industry.
Congratulations to Cass, and he'll be riding in tomorrow's to Milk Growers Grand Parade. And that is the news at 22 minutes after the hour. One more newscast before we work. We don't get the weekend off, but it happens. This is television, and you know, you can't cover events on weekends unless you cover events on weekends. So we'll be out and about enjoying the festivities, but doing a little work as well. The news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight, 5 and 10, because at 6 o'clock, we got the Classy Chassis Parade presented by Les Schwab. But if you can consume the news anytime you want to by going to the World Wide Web, our news will be up and running on our homepage, NCWLIFE.com, our Facebook page, our YouTube page, and if you have a news tip, and we've gotten some pretty significant stories just from you folks pointing us in the right direction, don't hesitate. Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Sports is next. You're watching a Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
The Surf and Slide Water Park is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Surf and Slide is located in the heart of Central Washington in Moses Lake with activities for all ages and abilities. Check out Surf and Slide's Flow Rider Surfing Simulator, Lazy River, 2 200-foot water slides, tube slides, and diving boards. Our children's area includes a Treasure Island water structure, splash pad, and baby octopus slide. For season passes, visit us online or find Surf and Slide on Facebook.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular, family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. It's time to enjoy one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCW Life. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCW Life channel.
Sports at 25 minutes after the hour. The Mariners and Rangers meet up for the 4th time this season tonight in Arlington. It's the start of a 6-game road trip for Seattle. Mariners are 6-6 on the road. They're 18-12 overall. Texas has an 11-6 record at home, and they are 16-16 Overall, the Mariners have won 15 of their last 18 games. They're riding a 4-game winning streak. Brian Wu starts for the Mariners. Jack Leiter gets the nod for the Rangers. First pitch on Root Sports is at 5:05. Mariners gained a half game on the Rangers last night. They didn't play, and the Rangers did, and they lost. Athletics beat them 3-0, and the Angels are really struggling. They're now in the basement of the American League West. The Tigers took care of them 10-4. All right, prep baseball. We have a lot to get to here. Chelan swept Cascade. Congratulations to the Goats, by the way. Caribou Trail League champions, and they took care of the Kodiaks 14-1 in Game 1 and 12-2 in Game 2. And Quincy swept Grandview in prep baseball 14-4 in the opener, 3-2, a tight one in the nightcap. Prep softball, the Wenatchee Panthers no problems with the Davis Pirates on the road, 16-2 in Game 1, 23-2 in Game 2, and they were also blowouts for Kashmir. They took care of Cle Elum 15-1 and 12-2 in prep softball. The prep softball scoreboard continues with the smaller schools. Cascade and Waterville Mansfield played a doubleheader. The second game was a tie. I'm assuming because the games don't count, they're in different leagues. That's why they just said, we'll just call it a tie. Elmira Cooley Heartline beat Lake Roosevelt 8-7, and Brewster shuts out Liberty Bell 15-0 in prep softball. Prep soccer, Chelan shuts out Omak on the pitch 2-0. Cascade took care of Manson 3-0. Okanagan just got by Liberty Bell 2-1, and Brewster over Orville double them up 4-2. All right, that's what happened. Here is what is on the schedule today. Doubleheaders across the board. Davis will be at Wenatchee at Historic Recreation Park. First pitch, first game, 4 o'clock. And that'll be Eastmont will be on the road to take on Eisenhower at 4 o'clock for a doubleheader. Moses Lake plays host to West Valley. Battle of the two teams in first place in the Big 9, 4 o'clock at Larson Field. And Keona Benton welcomes Kashmir for a doubleheader, first pitch, first game at 3 o'clock. That's today. Doubleheaders across the board Saturday. Madison at Omak at 11 a.m. First pitch, first game for Ephrata. Also hosting Ellensburg, you got Brewster at Okanagan at 11 a.m. Liberty Bell hosting Lake Roosevelt for a twin bill at 11 a.m. and 12 noon. First pitch for the Battle of the Hyphens, Waterville, Mansfield, and Wilbur, Creston, Keller. Prep softball today. Eisenhower will be at Eastmont. That's the doubleheader at 4 o'clock. West Valley plays host to Moses Lake at 4 o'clock. Kashmir at Keona Benton in a doubleheader at 3 o'clock today. Chelan Cascade, 3 o'clock. Doubleheader for Ephrata and Ellensburg, also at 3 o'clock. And Tenassekin and Bridgeport in softball. Again, a doubleheader again at 3 o'clock. The Saturday schedule, much lighter. Okanagan and Brewster for a doubleheader at 10 a.m. I still think that's awfully early to start playing softball, but I don't make the schedules. 11 a.m. first pitch, first game for Omak playing host to Manson. Prep soccer today. Wenatchee has lost just one game all year long. That was on the road against Eisenhower last month, so they'll be looking for revenge tonight at Leibofta Field at the Apple Bowl. West Valley will play host to Eastmont at 7 o'clock. Also at 7 o'clock, Orville at Tenassekin. 1 hour earlier, Wapato visits Kashmir on the pitch. That's today. Saturday, more soccer. 11 a.m. Bridgeport welcomes Chelan. Ephrata will be at Toppenish at 11 a.m. Liberty Bell will be at Orville at 11 a.m. Ephrata and Quincy will get going at noon. And at 1 o'clock start, Soap Lake soccer team will take on Omak. And the Wenatchee Bighorns won again. They got the number of Great Falls. Great Falls has now lost 2 games all year, both to Wenatchee. Wenatchee is right on Great Falls on the TBL Pacific Northwest standings, and guess what? You can check them out again tonight. Great Falls and Wenatchee stay in town, and they'll tip it off at the W.B. Smith Gymnasium at 7 o'clock, among the many things to do this weekend. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. There are 7 obscure holidays that crossed my desk, so you are more than welcome to celebrate National Truffle Day. Nobody knows the truffles I've seen. That's so bad. It's National Space Day. Ooh. It's No Pants Day. I was told implicitly that I was not to celebrate that. It's World Tuna Day. It's Baby Day. I'm a former child myself. It's International Tuba Day. We're not doing that. We're doing life insurance. Today is National Life Insurance Day. Today, because it was on this date, and I don't know the year, it was on this date, that life insurance first became available in this country. It had been around before that. Fun facts about life insurance. About 6 out of every 10 adults own life insurance, but about 70% of life insurance is bought by baby boomers and Gen Xers. The younger you are, the least likely you are to buy life insurance. In the last decade, there has been a 23% decrease in life insurance being offered to people by their employers. Now, I worked for a company, I worked for two companies as a matter of fact. Now, if you were a full-time salaried employee at that company, the company took out a life insurance policy on you. So if you died while employed by this company, somebody was a beneficiary of their life insurance policy. They don't do that much anymore. If you've ever seen the movie Double Indemnity, you might not want to know this fact. About 20% of Americans do not know how much life insurance their spouse has. Ugh. And by the way, in case you're curious, there are about 800 insurance companies in the U.S. I know I get flyers from all of them. Think about life insurance. Okay, I'm done thinking. 31 minutes after the hour, today in history. When you are in the starting lineup for 14 years and 2,130 consecutive games, your manager is not going to bench you regardless of how poor you were playing. The only person who's going to take you out of the lineup is going to be yourself. And Lou Gehrig on this date in Detroit, 86 years ago today, says, for the good of the team, I'm not going to play. He took himself out of the lineup, and he was not playing very good. Of course, nobody knew at the time, Lou included, that he was suffering from amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. He wouldn't be diagnosed with that for a few more weeks. He stayed with the Yankees for the rest of the 1939 season as team captain. He would take the starting lineup out to the managers before the game, but he would never play in a Major League Baseball game again after 2,130 consecutive games. And in the wee small hours of May the 2nd, 2011, 14 years ago today, Osama bin Laden, the suspected mastermind behind the September 11th attacks and the most wanted man by the FBI, is killed by United States Special Forces in Pakistan. It happened in the wee small hours of the morning on May 2nd. It was a Sunday. He had been in hiding in the compound in Pakistan for 9 years, and the Pakistani authorities didn't even know he was there. Osama bin Laden dead 14 years ago today. And let's do birthdays. Who is the highest paid actor in the world and has been for the last 7 years? And I'm using the term actor loosely, but who's kidding who? He's entertaining. If you want mindless nonsense junk, pure mind candy, you might want to watch a movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who's made a lot of money in motion pictures after getting out of professional wrestling. He is 53 years old today. And Kyle Busch, considered one of the greatest NASCAR drivers of all time, is 40 years old today. 14 years ago, Kyle Busch was cited for reckless driving and speeding near Troutman, North Carolina. Kyle Busch was driving 120 miles an hour, 128 in a 45-mile-per-hour speed limit zone. He issued a public apology. He said he got carried away. He was test driving a Lexus, Kyle Busch was. He received a $1,000 fine, and his driver's license was suspended. After he pled guilty to that, Kyle Busch, of course, continued his NASCAR racing career despite not having a valid driver's license. You don't need a valid driver's license to race, but you do to drive to Safeway. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. You saw the forecast. My air conditioner is on, but I did it manually. And it's not too late. If you want to make sure that your HVAC system is ready to make the transition from heating your home to cooling your home when the hot weather comes, give Alpine Air a call. They'll give it a tune-up to make sure you are good to go. When Mike McNally's wife is watching a Seattle Mariner game, do not interrupt her. Mike will have an opinion on that. And we're talking Tour de Bloom Downtown Criterium, which is tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night with Craig Still and Steve Johnson. They'll be joining me when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Celebrate Apple Blossom with the Stamilk Grand Parade Saturday, May 3rd at 11 a.m. on the NCWLIFE channel. Coverage is brought to you in part by our platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington, Boswell's Home Furnishings, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Merry Maids, Together for Youth, and the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Watch the Stamilk Grand Parade Saturday, May 3rd on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel.
It's the NCWLIFE Community Calendar, brought to you by the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Opening day for the Wenatchee Valley Farmers Market is Saturday, May 10th. Pick up your fresh, locally grown produce at the Wenatchee Valley Farmers Market every Saturday from 8 to 1. Early season favorites like asparagus, peas, radishes, potatoes, rhubarb, green beans, kale, plus starter plants, original arts and crafts, soaps, candles, plants, and lots of goodies to snack on.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Right now at Les Schwab Tires, it's the Best for Less sales event. Save up to $120 instantly on a set of 4 tires. Choose from a wide selection of our longest-lasting, best-performing tires, and every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty. With a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. It's our best deal on our best tires, with the best service in the business. Get more from less.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNutty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I love my wife, Rosie. Yes, I do. But her obsession with the Mariners is driving me crazy. I mean, I'm trying to read a book. I'm doing work on the computer. Heaven help me. I'm trying to go to sleep. But she feels the need to update me on every pitch, every strike, every foul ball, every doggone thing that's happening that, frankly, I couldn't care less about. You know, no, my friends, my buddies, they understand that when God was handing out the sports gene, I stepped out for a beer. Rosie, so somehow equates a shared love of the Mariners as some sort of barometer for our relationship. Now she can disagree with me about Janis Joplin, appropriate toppings on pizza, or my obsession with cop shows, and none of this is any indication that she doesn't love me. But me telling her that I could care less if Julio got a hit or struck out, man, we don't even want to go there. Oh God, this is Mike Mad Dog McNutty, and that's my opinion.
Celebrate Apple Blossom with a Classy Chassis Parade on Friday, May 2nd at 6 p.m. on the NCWLIFE channel. Coverage is brought to you in part by our Platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington, Boswell's Home Furnishings, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Merry Maids, Together for Youth, and the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Watch the Classy Chassis Parade Friday, May 2nd at 6 p.m. on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
The Surf and Slide Water Park is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Surf and Slide is located in the heart of Central Washington in Moses Lake with activities for all ages and abilities. Check out Surf and Slide's Flow Rider Surfing Simulator, Lazy River, 2 200-foot water slides, tube slides, and diving boards. Our children's area includes a Treasure Island water structure, splash pad, and baby octopus slide. For season passes, visit us online or find Surf and Slide on Facebook.
Hey. If it feels like everything you say to your teenager goes in one ear and out the other, you're not alone. But even when it seems like they aren't listening, they are, especially when it comes to a topic like drugs. Find time in everyday moments to share facts, teach refusal skills, and answer their questions about drugs, including opioids like fentanyl, because your words matter. Get the conversation started today.
Hi, I'm Corley with Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, Animal Care Manager. And today I have with me Patches. Patches is our beautiful big German Shepherd mix. We think there might be some Husky in there because of his gorgeous eyes. Yeah, we've had him for a couple weeks now. He came in to us as a stray. And yeah, we think he might be about 7 or so, but he's still got some playful energy, and he's really smart, and we found that he knows all sorts of tricks. He's really fast to respond with the right incentive, being hot dogs and cheese, or probably anything else. He's a really beautiful example of a Husky Shepherd mix, actually. All the best from both. Yeah, yes you are. He loves his walks, and he loves his people time. Yeah, and he's actually been great with our dogs here too. He's polite with them, and yeah, and he likes to play. He's a really good boy. Yes, he's just kind of a sweetheart. It's a big love. Yeah, you are. As usual with strays, we don't know how he is with cats, so we can't recommend that either way. But at least we know that he's pretty good with dogs. As usual, though, we always suggest that you bring your dog in to meet our dogs, because that's a very important relationship to get right from the start. He seems to know his sit and his stay, and he's really fast on down, and he will do anything to get your treat, so he'll throw all of them at you at once, including shake. It's pretty funny. I think he may have been a high-powered executive in another life, because his handshake is very firm and very assertive. He's a very confident boy. And he's working on spin. That's just kind of my own thing that I like to teach them. Also, we had a volunteer fall so in love with this boy, they couldn't take him, but they did prepay his adoption fee. So we all want him to get home so badly. So we want to take that out of the picture for anyone interested. Yeah. So if you'd like to come meet our Patches, we are open Thursday through Tuesday from 12:30 to 6, or you can make an appointment on Wednesday. We'd love to see you.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chair on the other side. You can use this
Great, I want that one. I like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Spring into the good life. World-class wine, food, and hospitality meet on the shores of Lake Chelan. Chelan Cellars, bringing great wine, food, friends, and family together where vineyards and the good life bloom every spring.
Tipsy Canyon Winery has become the place to go for fine wine and unbelievable views of the Chelan Valley. Tipsy Canyon Winery is a year-round destination for wine lovers, so stay for the moment that becomes the memory at Tipsy Canyon Winery.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether. We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. With professional-grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Going to start out this interview with a little story about the very first year they had the race in downtown Wenatchee. I'm talking, of course, about the downtown criterium put on by Rookard Pools. Rookard Pools, by the way, they make great pools. We were having a good time here in the beer garden. It was very warm, very pleasant spring evening. It got a little not crazy, but it was a little too crowded for comfort in the beer garden. We went out to take a breather. We looked down Rondo Street. What the heck is going on down there? We go down to check out the bicyclists, and we were hooked. And before you know it, my friend, we had a better time down there, downtown, than we had up at the beer garden, because this is entertaining, fast racing. Introduce yourself to our television family.
My name is Steve Johnston. I will be, I guess, the voice of the criterium. I'll be on the mic, join my buddy here, Craig Still. Craig is my color guy. He'll do all the interviews in the streets, talk to the racers, and just tell the story of the race from the racer's perspective, while I just try and call the action as it comes live.
You guys created a monster, because that first year was such a phenomenal success that I've been back every year.
Well, I'm really super stoked to hear that. You know, there was some stumbling blocks before we actually moved it to Apple Blossom and right down the avenue where we were at. Our previous location was more south of town, or south of the avenue, and we used Columbia Street. It was horrible pavement down there. In fact, I had a racer undress me one day and tell me how dangerous our race was. But anyway, it's been just a pleasure and just a huge thing for us to move down the avenue and have it on Apple Blossom. It's just wonderful, and we're happy that the city has embraced us, and Apple Blossom as well.
Pass your mic over for just a minute to Mr. Craig. These guys, first thing we noticed when we saw the very first downtown, these guys are fast. I mean, and gals too. They are fast, amateurs or pros. They are just smoking around downtown.
Yeah, and our course it's one of the fastest crit courses that you'll see in anywhere. And so it's a pretty exciting, electric thing for bike racing. Bike racing generally isn't a great spectator sport, okay? Generally on a stage like, say, up in Waterville, or even at the Ed Ferris stage, bike racers take off. You may not see them for 45 minutes. That's not the case in downtown Wenatchee. You're going to see them every minute in the elite fields, and a little bit slower on the other fields, but the racing is fantastic. What we try to do is we try to sort of paint a picture of really what's going on in that race and how it affects the general classification and that type of thing. And most of the time we can get a feel for what's really happening, what's playing out, how the teams are interacting, how trying to protect their guy or their gal and to get them to the finish line quicker. I will say this, in the later fields, the last two especially, the elite women and the elite men, they come so fast. Even for us on an elevated platform, it's hard to see really what's going on in the race.
You guys will be set up right at the start-finish line, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Any kind of pushback, and I'll ask you, any kind of pushback, oh, by the way, Darcy, we want to take it downtown, which means we have to close a 4-block section of downtown on a Saturday night of Apple Blossom. Was that like, you know what, I'm all for it?
Yeah, I don't think we got any pushback from Darcy. And in fact, I'll just state that the Wenatchee Police Department, they loved it. The very first year that we held the race on the avenue, they called us afterwards, or we were in their after-action meeting, and they said they went to normal staffing by 10 o'clock that night on Apple Blossom, which was unheard of previous, so they like it. Unfortunately for some people, it shut down the cruising, but I mean, we kind of take over the avenue.
No, it didn't. It's now just two-wheel cruising real fast.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
Without the beads.
Yeah. Talk about, you mentioned about every minute they come by again, and they do, but you got plenty of things to do in the 45 seconds while you're waiting for the racers to come by. There's refreshments, shall we say.
Yep. The craft cannabis beer garden is at the start-finish line. We have, just bumping tunes down there. We kind of try and create a party atmosphere.
You do it well.
For the spectators and the racers. The racers really love it because every time they come by the beer garden, a roar usually goes up, and Craig and I try and stoke that fire. And, cowbells. That's what bring those and just have fun with it. Craig, anything to add?
Well, we've traveled around the Pacific Northwest a lot as a race committee, and so we've been to a lot of races, and we always go there with the idea of, hey, let's focus on the things that these guys are doing right and glean some of that and bring it home to us, right? And I'll tell you what, when it comes to the criterium, our criterium is the funnest, it's the fastest, it's the most exciting. It has a vibe like no other bike race, local, regional, whatever bike race that I've ever been to.
The races start about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's pretty continuous. If you really want to watch the best of the best, the fastest of the fastest, they get going about 8 o'clock on Saturday night?
Yep, about 8 o'clock will be our elite women. Elite men and start at 9. So as you can probably imagine, the final races take place under the lights, which adds to the complete ambiance of our event and really makes it a spectacle for the bike racers themselves and anybody in attendance. It really makes it a special event.
Between you and Craig and Ace and everybody else, I'll ask you both of this. How many hours, how many people are involved in this? You got law enforcement running roadblocks, you have pilot cars, you got volunteers left, right, and everything. This has gotten big. I'll let you answer that one.
Well, I don't know how many hours Ace Bollinger clocks in for this, but it is amazing. Ace is so well known around the country as the race director of Tour de Bloom. Whenever we go to other races, people ask us, they hand their phones over and said, could you take a picture of us with Ace? So the guy's a complete rock star. He's changed not only the Tour de Bloom, but the Tour de Bloom is the blueprint for what races around the country look at as they're trying to build their race. Anyway, I'll get back. That's just Ace. We have a pretty committed race committee that works on this year round.
They should be committed, all the hours they put in.
Yeah. But our next level of people, our drivers, our course marshals, our host housing coordinator, these are the people that honestly, we're the envy of the race community because of the commitment that we have from our volunteers and our leads in that. It's fantastic. And Steve, I'll hand it over.
You saw the videos during the interview. They're all spectator friendly, not quite like the downtown, but they're all spectator friendly. You're more than welcome to go out and watch any of these events. You saw the videos. They don't do it justice. To see it in person as a whip around downtown Wenatchee is the only way to do it. You'll be hooked because I'll be hooked, and I'll see you guys come Saturday night.
Awesome, Dan. Glad to have you down there.
You're watching. Thank you. Yeah, anytime, gentlemen. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and we'll be right back.
Central Washington Water is home to the Hot Spring Spa for over 45 years. Come see the Freshwater Smart IQ. It monitors your saltwater spa's pH balance, chlorine, and more. Or the cold plunge tub that will leave you feeling rejuvenated. Plug-and-play spas make hot tubbing easy. With great financing available, cold water, salt water, hot water, Central Washington Water has a spa for your budget and your lifestyle. Stop by today.
What's your awesome? Whatever it is, Washington Trust Bank can help you get there. Learn more at watrust.com/awesome.
All right, I hope you get the day off today. First of all, it's going to be gorgeous. We'll get to those details in just a little bit, but this is the big weekend of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. It wasn't that long ago, believe it or not, I'm old enough to remember, that it was only one weekend, and there was no school on the Friday of the first weekend in May, and that was when they had the actual youth parade, what we called back then the Kiddies Parade. There was no school. Everybody came and did the parades, all the local schools and some from out of town. That was on Friday, and then the Grand Parade will be on Saturday. Things have changed. It's now an 11-day festival. Lots going on today. Of course, the Les Schwab Classy Chassis Car Show and parade is today. So if you want to check out these cars in person, instead of seeing them drive down Grant Road, you can do so at the Eastmont Community Park. They'll be taking over the whole park, all of these great, awesome automobiles. And then, of course, starting at 6 o'clock sharp, they'll start cruising down Grant Road, and we will be there. Our cameras will be set up at the local hotel parking lot on Grant Road to bring you live coverage. So the news tonight at 6 o'clock, if you're a regular connoisseur of the 6 o'clock news, it will be preempted so we can give you live coverage of the Les Schwab Classy Chassis Parade. And thank goodness we have two car experts, because unlike the other parades, the Technoplex Youth Parade and the Smoke Growers Grand Parade, they have a set lineup, and we know in advance who's coming down the route. Anybody can. They print it up, so everybody can look at the lineup and see what their favorite entries are for those two parades. But the Les Schwab Classy Chassis Parade is another story altogether. They don't have a set lineup, so to speak. They do the best they can, but basically the cars just leave the Eastmont Community Park and drive down Grant Road and down Valley Mall Parkway, and they end at the Douglas County PUD headquarters. So we have two car experts, because that way they know what they're talking about, because they have to ad-lib the whole thing. Thank goodness we have Ron Bershauer, the retired owner of Jerry's Auto Supply, and Grant Olson handling those duties. I would be lost trying to call the Les Schwab Classy Chassis Parade. I'm happy if my car starts. That's tonight. And then tomorrow morning, dark and early, of course, the downtown Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast to fuel you up for a big day of activities. Once again, it's at this new location. It's at the concession stands on the west end of Lee Bofta Field at the Apple Bowl. It used to be, of course, at Triangle Park, but that facility doesn't exist anymore. It's a brand new softball field. So if you want to indulge in the Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast, that will be at the concession stands at Lee Bofta Field at the Apple Bowl on the west side of the stadium. And I think they start at like 6 a.m. And they feed all the bands. And this is I've heard about this from all the bands that come in from out of town. It's the only festival that they participate in where they get free breakfast. If you're in the parade as a member of a high school marching band, they feed you for free. Not bad. It's not just pancakes. They have eggs and all kinds of cool stuff as well. And then the Smoke Growers Grand Parade, of course, begins at 11 o'clock at the right at Triangle Park, the staging area. And that's when our broadcast will begin also at 11 o'clock. By the time about 11:15 rolls around is about when the first entries will be coming down to our location. We'll be set up right across the street from the Chelan County Courthouse on Orondo Avenue. 1974 Queen Julie Agents Kuntz and our own Eric Grandstrom will be giving you commentary, and Grant Olson will be roaming around with a wireless microphone to talk to some of the parade entries and the people like that. And right now, as it stands, things aren't looking too bad. It looked a little dicey earlier in the week. National Weather Service was kind of hedging their bets. But right now, it's not looking too bad. Here's the forecast for the weekend. 81 today. If we get there, and I think we will, it will be the warmest day of the year. But late this afternoon into the early evening hours, the ridge that's giving us the sunny and warm weather is going to do two things. It's going to start breaking down, and it's going to start shifting to the east, and that's going to allow an incoming cold front to come into our area overnight tonight. Now, it's a dry system, they tell us. We do have about a 30% chance of rain tonight, but I'm talking 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. By the time the sun comes up tomorrow at about 6 o'clock, we should be done with the rain. And the best part, even though it's going to be a lot cooler, as you can see, only 65, which is about normal actually, no rain during the parade and not a lot of wind. It'll be breezy, but not windy. Now, Saturday night, it's going to get quite windy, and the temperatures will be dropping down to below normal, 42 for the overnight low on Saturday. And then for the last day of the Apple Blossom Festival, right back to sunshine, beautiful weather, very little wind, and then another high-pressure system sets up, and we'll be right back in the 80s by the middle of next week. Have a great Apple Blossom weekend. Looking forward to seeing you out and about. We'll see you Monday. Till then, bye-bye.